Hi everyone, it's Merc007 here. Thank you for joining my board game video. Today I'd like to introduce you to the Coil, a game designed in Japan that is getting an international release. Please enjoy! The Coil is a 2 to 5 player dystopian fantasy dice management game designed by Fuqua and published by Amuri Studios in Japan. This video is based on an early sample edition. Some of the components, graphics and details you see here will likely have some changes and be updated before the final edition. Hopefully this video will give you a glimpse into the gameplay and the mechanics. This game is set in a post-cataclysm world where the Coil, a supercontinent, consists of various nations each vying for control of their neighbouring borders. Players need to use their troop dice to defend their own regions while trying to win the neighbours' regions, collect more resources than others, while also aiming to score their secret objective. Only the player gains the most or the second most in each category at the end of the game can earn victory points. The player gets the most total Western region points, whomever has the highest total Homeland region points, and the Eastern region. The number of arcane technologies, myth stones, and food caches will be the ones that score points. Whomever gains the most total points over the 4 rounds becomes the Emperor of the Coil. The game comes with 5 nations: Realms of Shakum, the Kree Colonies, Dedron Commonwealth, Ignixio Sovereignty, and the Celestios Empire, each with their own abilities and deck of cards. And in the Coil, you'll mainly be defending and fighting with your neighbours, but you'll also get a chance to interact with other players. What's also interesting is the cards have 2 uses. They can either expand your own region or help you manipulate your dice. In this game, all the information is public except for your secret objective, which may change over the course of the game. So let's get into it. To set up, players each choose a nation and take the corresponding deck of 14 cards and shuffle them. And units, which are your dice, and place them all in front of you. Place the 4-sided dice in the center of the table with the one side facing up. This dice acts like a North Star, so every player will use this dice to orient as their own north. And the dice not only acts as the north, but it also acts as a round tracker. It will count up to 4 rounds, and at the end of the 4th round, the game will end. The opponent to your left is your Western nation, and the opponent to your right is your Eastern nation. Each nation has its own ability, and the cards also have different effects. For example, the Celestios Empire allows players to change the value of 1 die from each opponent's reserve at the end of the escalation phase. And the cards can manipulate dice, for example, by adding 1 to it, or choose any number for your dice. -1 to the dice. Flip the dice over to the other side. Change the dice to odd numbers. Change the dice to even numbers. On the nation card, this arrow shows how many cards the player gets during setup and how many dice they gain each muster phase. And this is their initiative number. Your discard area will be on the right of your nation card. Players then draw the number of starting cards from their deck. The card in your hand, they are used as tactic cards to manipulate dice, and if they're placed on the table in the Coil area, they're used as region cards. And they also show the myth stone symbol, the food cache or cache, arcane technology symbol, which might be needed to achieve some secret objectives, and endgame victory points. Each player is given a random strategy card, which they can have a look at and then place face down. The card is the endgame secret objective for the player, and it also shows multipliers when they compete for who has the majority in each region at the end of the game. The back of the card is also where you place your units. Basically, this is your population. So you may gain more strategy cards throughout the game, and at the end of the game, you only get to select one of the objectives to go for. These areas on the card have helpful reminders of which region is the Eastern, Western, and Homeland regions. But there are also areas where you will collect and place cards that you've won from your opponent and from your homeland. There are 5 phases in the game. All phases are played simultaneously except for the 3rd and 4th phase. In the expansion phase, players grow their regions simultaneously. So everyone turns over one of their cards from their deck and places it in their homeland area as one of their own regions. All the region cards on the table in this area form the coil. So in this example, everyone draws a region card and places it and orients it beneath the northern dice. In the muster phase, players roll and set their units simultaneously. Everyone takes a number of unit dice, as listed on their nation card, from the strategy card and rolls them. In my nation, it says I can muster 4 of my units, so I rolled a 6, 4, 4 and a 1. So everyone adds them onto their reserve on their nation card. In the escalation phase, players take turns to do their actions to gain cards or get more reserve units. Starting from the player with the largest total in their reserve, then going clockwise, and if there's a tie, the player with the largest initiative goes first. On each player's turn, they do all of their actions as indicated by the northern dice. So for round 1, it says 1 and you do 1 action. Round 2, everybody gets 2 actions, which they do all together on their own turn, and so on. Since it's round 1, we can only do 1 action. So my reserve total dice adds up to 15, and it's the highest amongst this table. So I get to go first and do all my actions. So in the escalation actions, you can choose from one of these actions. Players can recruit by adding a dice from the population to the reserve, or they can scout by drawing a card from any homeland to add to their hand. And then they must reveal a new card from that deck and add it into the coil. Or they can strategize by taking a new strategy card, which will give you a different secret objective. And at the end of the game, you can choose which secret objective to apply. Then it's the next player's turn, going clockwise. And back to this example. So I decide to scout and take a card from my eastern neighbor. And because I scouted, I have to reveal a new region. If there were a 4th or 5th player, I could have taken a card from them and revealed a region from them. The Shakum, recruited by rolling dice and adding it to their reserve. And Ignicio also recruited. Each nation has their own ability. For example, the one that I'm playing now, Celestius Empire, lets me change the value of 1 die from each opponent's reserve at the end of the escalation phase. Next is the battle phase. This is also turn-based, and players deploy their reserve units to regions to defend or try to win them. Initiative is once again determined by the player with the largest total in their reserve, and on ties, use the initiative check. In the battle on your turn, you may deploy 1 or more of your dice from your reserve to any region. Dice are placed on available spaces, starting on the arrow and going upwards. But to beat an opponent's dice, your dice value must be exactly 1 higher than the previous dice. In this phase, you can spend any number of cards from your hand to manipulate the dice according to the card effect. If the dice ever goes higher than 6, the dice will switch to a 1, and the same if the dice ever goes less than a 1, it will flip to a 6. So each player will take their turn in the battle phase. When it gets to you again, if you don't want to use any more reserve dice or tactic cards, you can pass. As soon as any player passes, the battle phase ends. In round 2, Realms of Shakum goes first. They decide to use a card to change their dice to evens. They change their 1 to a 6 and place it on their own region to defend. Onyxia Sovereignty and Celestos Empire takes their turn. Realms of Shakum sees a chance to claim back their own region. They have the 5 dice, which is exactly 1 away from 4, so they place it on the next space. Then it's Onyxia Sovereignty's turn. They use a card to flip the dice to the other side and claim Realms of Shakum's region. Eventually, someone passes and the battle ends. The last phase is the conquest phase, where we resolve who won each region. Players claim and take only the neighbouring region's card if their dice was the topmost dice. Those are then put under their strategy card. And they claim their own homeland region cards that have no dice on them. And if you won non-neighbouring regions, take those cards into your hand as tactic cards. Once everyone has finished resolving the conquest, if this was the 4th round, the game ends. Otherwise, turn the northern dice up 1 and start from the expansion phase again. When the game ends, players choose one of the strategy cards that they've picked up and turn over all the cards face up. To track points, they can use unused dice from their population area. Players who earn the most in these categories earn 2 victory points, and players who earn the second most earn 1 victory point. Whomever has the highest total Western region points will score 2 victory points, and the second highest will score 1 victory point. To calculate these points, you multiply the Western border cards with the multiplier. And whomever has the highest total homeland region points will score 2 victory points, and the second highest will score 1 victory point. And then we check the Eastern region. Whomever has the highest total there will score 2 victory points, and the second highest will score 1 point. Then we look at the symbols on the cards collected. Whomever has collected the most arcane technology symbols will score 2 victory points, and the second most 1 point. And whomever has collected the most Mythstone symbols will score 2, and the player in second will score 1 victory point. Whomever collected the most food cache or cache symbols will score 2 victory points, and the second most 1 victory point. And whomever has the highest total from their reserve unit dice values, plus the cards left in the hand, will score 2 victory points, and the second highest will score 1 victory point. Finally, if you have completed your secret objective, score 2 victory points. And the player with the highest total victory point is the winner. The Coil is a unique dice management game that comes in a small compact box. There's the fun of rolling the dice, as well as mitigating the dice roll with your cards. And even though it may seem like you're only interacting with the people sitting next to you, you can still interact with opponents that are not your neighbours by winning their regions to use as tactic cards, or scouting and drawing cards from their deck to add to your hand to be used later. I like how some phases have the simultaneous play, so there's no downtime. And then when it comes to battle, you can watch it unfold. The Coil will be launching on Kickstarter in 2025. I've put a link in the YouTube description, so please check out their campaign. And you can follow Amuri Studio's social media if you're interested in more of their creations. And if you'd like to see what type of interesting things are coming out of Japan, why not try some of these unique games coming out from local creators from over here. Thank you so much for your support. Please like, share, or comment in my channel if you like the content. Thank you for watching. Until next time, happy gaming!